Welcome back to Electron Devices and Circuits lecture video series. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic center tap full wave rectifier. At the end of the video, you will be able to understand what is full wave rectifier, operation of center tap full wave rectifier, expressions for full wave rectifier parameters. We will see the topic one by one. So first is full wave rectifier. So by definition, half wave rectifier we have discussed in previous video. So it is a rectifier that rectifies only one half cycle of the input AC signal. That is half wave rectifier. Whereas full wave rectifier means a circuit that utilizes both the half cycles of the input AC signal and converts it into an pulsating DC. That is called full wave rectifier. So when you purchase a full wave rectifier circuit in a market, you will get the picture like this. You will get a device like this. It's having a 4 leads. So these 2 leads are, 2 leads is for giving the input and another 2 leads is for getting the output. And this is the AC input voltage, positive and negative is for input, and DC output voltage. These 2 leads are for tapping the output. See, this is the circuit diagram of the full wave rectifier. So this comprises of various components like AC source, single phase AC source of 230 volt 50 Hz frequency, and one center tap transformer, 2 diodes named as D1 and D2, and one load resistance RL. See, this transformer is a center tap transformer. So we have discussed this in half wave rectifier video itself. So the main advantages of a center tap transformer is upper half and lower half gets the equal voltages but in opposite polarity. So if the secondary windings is getting a 6 volt, means upper half you will get plus 6 and lower half you will get minus 6. If not, upper half you will get minus 6 and lower half you will get plus 6. So like that it is having an privileges. It splits the voltages equally in both upper half and lower half. And the circuit connections will have to be given like this. So we'll see the operation. During the positive off cycle of the applied input AC signal, this terminal here, the 2 terminals are represented in the transformer secondary. The terminal P1 will be positive and P2 will be negative. This is when during the positive off cycle of the input AC signal. So if this terminal is positive, the diode D1 is said to be in forward bias, because this positive polarity connected to anode of the diode D1. Anode is meant for positive terminal, so same polarity, so this is in forward bias. And similarly here your P2 terminal is negative and this is also connected to anode of diode D2. Anode is meant for positive, and here positive polarity of the device connected to negative polarity of the source. So this is reverse bias. We know that in forward bias the device diode act as an closed switch, and in reverse bias the diode act as an open switch. So this diode act as a closed switch, diode D1. It allows the current to flow through it. The current takes the direction represented by brown arrowhead. So it goes in this direction. Again here some junction is there. Here there is a possibility for the currents to get divided like this, but in this direction the circuit is left open due to the reverse bias of the diode D2. So this flow of direction for the flow of current is not possible. So current preferred this path. And again here only one load resistance, only one path for the current to flow. So entire current takes this path and again it is going. So here only junction will be here. It's not interjunction, it's jumping part, and current flows through this tapping center tap terminal and the circuit get closed here like this. So when you consider here, so in the upper half of the transformer secondary, some amount of DC current is flowing. This is because the current takes the direction from this left to right. So after passing through the diode, the current is said to be a pulsating DC current. That current only flowing through the resistance RL, and same current is flowing through the center tap terminal, and that current is taking the upper part of the transformer secondary. So some amount of DC current is flowing through the transformer secondary. This is considered to be one of the drawback. So it may leads to saturation loss, right? DC saturation losses. So keep it in mind, the current flowing through the load resistance RL is in the downward direction during positive off cycle. And we will see the operation negative off cycle. During negative off cycle, the terminal P1 is considered to be negative and P2 is considered to be positive. So now the diode D1 is reverse bias and D2 is forward bias. So it acts as a closed switch and this one acts as an open switch. So the current will prefers the diode D2. Again it takes this path. Again here the current will not flow in this direction. This is because this diode is open. So whatever the current coming here, entire current flows through the load resistance RL and again it is closing in this way. Right, the current starts from this direction, it is moving in this direction, again it is coming, again it is closing in this direction. Right, so here also the rectified DC current flows through lower half of the transformer secondary and this may also leads to DC saturation losses. So but when you consider the net DC current flowing through the transformer secondary for one full half cycle is assumed to be 0. This is because during positive off cycle the current is flowing in this direction and during the negative off cycle the current is in this direction. So the net resultant current, these two currents are in equal in magnitude but opposite in polarity. So these two current will cancel each other. So net DC current through the transformer secondary becomes 0. So this may not leads to saturation losses, whereas that is one of the major problem in case of half wave rectifier that got overcome here in full wave rectifier. This is one of the advantages in full wave rectifier. And again when you noticed, so I told you to keep one point in your mind during positive off cycle, that is nothing but the current flowing through the load resistance RL is in downward direction. Similarly, during negative off cycle also the current is preferring this path and during that cycle also the current is taking the, see the green arrowhead, the current is taking the downward direction. So whatever may be the positive or negative off cycle, the current is flowing through the load resistance RL is in one direction, unidirection. So even though the negative off cycle is with negative polarity, the rectified current is with positive polarity because current direction is same. We are tapping the voltage only across this terminal. So you will get an output in unidirection. So here what you can see means for positive off cycle also I am getting the voltage, for negative off cycle also I am getting the voltage. So this is called as an full wave rectifier. So this circuit utilizes both the half cycle of the input AC signals effectively in converting it into equivalent or pulsating DC voltage. So this is an operation of full wave rectifier. And the next one coming on to the waveform. So this waveform will be somewhat similar to the half wave rectifier. This is an input AC signal. First waveform is input AC signal and second one is this is the current flowing through the diode D1. As we discussed earlier, assume this is the positive off cycle. During positive off cycle, which diode is forward bias? D1 is forward bias. So this is the current through the diode D1, it is forward bias. So whatever the voltage we are applying, the same, it allows the current, so same current is flowing through the diode D1. And for the diode D2, this is for diode D2. And for the diode D2, what is there? So diode D2 during the positive off cycle, it will not conduct, it acts as an open circuit. So here the current becomes 0. And for negative off cycle, diode D1 will not conduct, so this remains 0, current remains 0 and D2 conducts, so current flowing through the diode D2. So when you talk about the net resultant load current IL, this is nothing but the summation of these two currents, because whatever may be the positive off cycle, whatever may be the half cycle, the current is allowed to flow through the load resistance RL. So when you consider the net resultant current for positive off cycle, current is there due to diode D1, and for negative off cycle, this is the negative off cycle, output current is there due to the diode D2, and this cycle continues as long as input power supply is there. Once if the current flowing through the load resistance, there may be an voltage drop across the resistance. So this is the resultant drop. As we already know, this is a pulsating DC. This cannot be useful for application point of view. So we need to filter out the unwanted AC component that is called ripples. So that is possible with the usage of capacitor at the output of rectifier. So here, in order to get a constant value of DC current or voltage, we need to calculate the average value. For finding the average value, we have to use integration, so that for the entire cycle we can able to get one average value of current or voltage, whatever it may be. So this is a waveform for full wave rectifier. Next, the derivations of full wave rectifier parameters. So as we already discussed with respect to half wave rectifier, the same procedure here we have to follow. So here the thing is, the formula, you know, IDC or I average equal to area under the curve over one complete cycle divided by time period. How we can say the cycle, how to define a cycle? Cycle means for how much duration the waveform nature gets repeated. So for how much duration the waveforms get repeated. When you consider this waveform, this is an output current waveform. With respect to this waveform, the waveforms gets repeated after every pi time period. So we can say one cycle is nothing but 0 to pi. This is because from pi onwards again the waveform get repeated, as such it behaved from 0. So it is repeating again and again, similar to that of 0 to pi interval. So we can say one cycle is nothing but 0 to pi. So 0 to pi, we have to integrate this, we already know. IL d omega t divided by time period is pi. So when you substitute the values of IL, you know Im into sin omega t, and you take Im outside, and this becomes integrate sin omega t, this becomes cos omega t, and you substitute the limits and simplify, you will get IDC is equal to what? IDC equal to 2 into Im by pi. Whereas in half wave rectifier you got only Im by pi. So we can say that IDC got improved compared to that of half wave rectifier. This is one thing. The next one is average DC load voltage. So this is very similar to that of the Ohm's law. VDC equal to IDC into RL. IDC formula, you know, substitute the formula directly, you will get the answer for VDC. This is equivalent to VDC equal to 2 into Im RL divided by pi. Whereas in half wave rectifier, this is simply Im RL divided by pi. So in full wave rectifier, this value got improved. The next one is RMS value of load current, IRMS. You know, the formula is a square root of area under the squared curve divided by time period. Similar to that of half wave rectifier, you use the formula, simplify this expression, and finally you will get the answer as IRMS is equal to IRMS is equal to Im divided by root 2. Whereas in half wave rectifier, we got IRMS equal to Im by 2. Im by 2 means compare Im by 2 and Im by root 2. So Im by root 2 is somewhat large. So we can say this here also. The conclusion is IRMS value got increased in full wave rectifier. This is another thing you have to note it. So and the next is RMS value of load voltage. Similar to Ohm's law, VRMS equal to IRMS into RL. Use the formula, Ohm's law formula. IRMS we have just calculated Im by root 2, substituted here. And for Im, again by using the Ohm's law, we can write I equal to V divided by R. Whereas R is the total resistance included in the circuit. So this can be Vm divided by RL plus Rf. This is because the DC current is depending in the flowing in the circuit depends on the total resistance in the circuit, that is RL and Rf. This we have already discussed in half wave rectifier. And again you simplify this expression, you will get VRMS is equal to Vm divided by root 2. This is root 2. Vn divided by root 2. So compared to half wave rectifier, this also got improved. Whereas half wave rectifier is only Vm by 2. And the next one is DC power output. So you know the formula DC power output, V into formula is V into I or I square R. So you know IDC square into RL, so substitute the value of IDC, you will get the formula as DC power output is equal to 4 Im square into RL by pi square. This also got improved. And AC power output is PAC equal to same formula like here IRMS square, whereas here you have taken IDC square, whereas here IRMS square in total resistance of the circuit. So AC total resistance. So AC current is flowing in a circuit means this depends on what are all the resistance in the circuit. One resistance is RF diode resistance, another resistance is transformer secondary winding, because AC current, because transformer secondary winding is the source for supplying AC current in the circuit. So this resistance is also included, and finally load resistance RL. Whereas when you consider the previous expression, here we have included only RL and RF. This is because we are calculating the AC equivalent of DC current. For that we have to consider only the resistance which allows the flow of DC current. So there you have to use only RL and RF. And again substitute the value of IRMS here, so you will get the formula. Simplify this one, this becomes that is PAC is equal to IM square into RL plus RF plus RS plus RF. So this is AC power. The next one, rectifier efficiency, you know the formula, it's defined as the ratio of DC power output to AC power input. So substitute PDC you know, PAC you know, substitute the formula and then simplify. And again use the condition that RL is far higher compared to that of RL and RF and RS. So denominator here it's very high, so this term becomes negligible. So efficiency is 0.812. in percentage you have to multiply this by 100. So efficiency becomes 81.2. Whereas in half wave rectifier, how much efficiency you got? Only 40%. Only 40% efficiency you got in half wave rectifier, whereas when we go for full wave rectifier, efficiency doubles. So this is one of the advantages. And then ripple factor is nothing but AC component present in DC output. So that is ripple. The term used to measure ripples is called ripple factor. The formula is square root of IRMS by IDC whole square minus 1. We know the formula for IRMS and IDC, substitute it directly here and simplifying, it will yields to the value that is ripple factor is equal to 0.48. This also got improved. High the ripple factor, less will be the content of ripple. So the outputs are 48%. Ripple contents in the output is just only 48%. Whereas in case of half wave rectifier it is 1.21, whereas here it's this is nothing but 0.48. Sorry, ripple factor reduces. So ripple factor reduces means low the value of ripple factor, high will be the quality of rectified output. So here ripple factor decreases. So this is also one of the drawback in full wave rectifier. And the next one is peak inverse voltage. So this is one of the important point you have to note it here. Peak inverse voltage, as I already said, this is the maximum reverse voltage across the diode in reverse bias condition. See, assume a circuit like this. This is full wave rectifier circuit. Assume the diode D1 is said to be in reverse bias. So reverse bias means it acts as a open switch. Assume this diode is open switch, and here what you are having, one voltage source. So this is one voltage source. So this value is ESM, and again here also you are having one voltage source. So positive polarity at the top. So positive, negative again here, and here this diode D2 is said to be in closed circuit. This is open because one cycle this is open, and in another cycle only this will get open. So now assume this diode D2 is closed. So and now consider the circuit like this. The current will be flowing in this direction, and what is this voltage? This voltage is ESM, and this voltage is also ESM. So what about the polarity here? What about the polarity? This is minus, this is plus, and this is minus, this is plus. So current is flowing in this direction. When you assume a KVL here, so this is rise, this is rise. Here the circuit is open, and again here voltage only, the diode D2 is there. Its forward voltage drop is 0.7. Actually the current is flowing through the diode in this direction, but for analysis purpose we are considering the direction clockwise. So here polarity reverses actual current direction, and assume the direction polarity reverses. So you have to consider minus. So in this closed path, what is the total voltage? ESM. This is rise, and this is drop. So we will get ESM. So ESM plus ESM and next diode, across diode it is drop 0.7. So total voltage across the diode D1 in reverse bias is 2 ESM minus 0.7. But this 0.7 is very negligible, so we are leaving that, and peak inverse voltage is only 2 into ESM. The same thing happens when this diode is reverse bias and this diode is forward bias. So this is one of the important thing you have to keep it in mind. So peak inverse voltage across each diode will be very high compared to that of half wave rectifier. This is considered to be one of the drawback. In half wave rectifier, peak inverse voltage is only ESM, whereas in full wave you are getting 2 ESM. If the peak inverse voltage increases, the diode will be of very bulky size and the cost is also very high. It is one of the drawback. And the next one is transformer utilization factor. So here the way of calculating tuff factor is somewhat different here compared to half wave rectifier. Here we have to calculate separately for primary windings and separately for secondary winding. First we will consider secondary winding. So in secondary winding, the current flowing through the circuit is DC current, because after passing the current after passing through the diode and then load resistance RL, and then only it is coming to secondary windings. So secondary tuff factor equal to PDC, that is output, divided by PAC rated. PDC is I square RL, IDC square RL, P rated is ERMS, IRMS. Because this is AC current, so we are considering ERMS, IRMS. ERMS equal to EM by root 2, we have just calculated, and IRMS equal to IM by root 2. And you simplify this one, you will get the tuff factor for secondary windings will be 0.812. Similarly, for primary winding, you have to calculate. So when you consider the rectifier circuit, so in what way we have considered? This is a transformer, and here this is core, and this is secondary winding, and here one diode, and again followed by load resistance RL, and here another diode followed by the load resistance RL. This is center tap. So when you consider this upper half, this resembles one half wave rectifier, and when you consider lower half, this resembles another half wave rectifier. So when you consider the tuff factor with respect to primary winding, we can say the primary winding is feeding two half wave rectifiers separately. You know the tuff factor for half wave rectifier, that is 0.287. So just multiply that value by 2, you will get the tuff factor for primary winding. So the tuff factor becomes 0.572. So the transformer is having both primary winding, secondary winding. Utilization factor for primary winding is this one. Utilization factor for secondary winding is this one. Just you take the average. This will be the total utilization factor of a transformer. This becomes 0.574. In half wave rectifier, you got only 287, whereas here in full wave rectifier, you got 0.574. That means utilization factor got improved. This is considered to be one of the advantages. Transformer is effectively utilized in center tap full wave compared to that of half wave rectifier. The next one is voltage regulation. This is very similar to that of the half wave rectifier. We have to do an experiment by using this formula, and we have to calculate. But when you consider the voltage regulation, full wave rectifier having better stability in the output compared to half wave rectifier. That is one of the summarizing point. And then advantages of half wave, full wave rectifier. In the previous derivation, what are all the things we have considered as an advantage? So here, what are all the things increases? So IDC increases, see VDC increases, IRMS increases, VRMS increases. So because of that, the power also increases, efficiency also increases, ripple factor got reduces. This is one of the improvement. And peak inverse voltage, it's got increased, so this is a drawback. And transformer got utilized effectively. This is one of the advantage. Regulation, voltage regulations better. So put together all these points: VDC, IDC high, no DC current. This is because why I am telling no DC current, because upper half of the transformer and lower half of the transformer, both the currents are equal and in opposite polarity. So this gets cancelled. So saturation current becomes 0. Tuff is better, efficiency is high, power output is high, ripple is less. All these are advantages. And disadvantages is peak inverse rating, as I already said, this is high. High peak inverse rating diodes are somewhat bulky in size and at the same time it is costly. Cost of center tap is higher, that is the thing. So compared to that of this much advantages, this disadvantages is of least bother. So we are widely using the center tap full wave rectifier for almost all applications point. And this is the circuit diagram you can able to fabricate in your lab or in your home. So you have to just, this is an half wave rectifier. You have to just purchase these components. Step down transformer, input 220 volt, output is 6 volt AC, and you have to purchase one diode IN4007, capacitor with this rating, and LED that can withstand 6 volt DC. So when you connect and fabricate a circuit like this in breadboard, you can able to perform half wave rectifier. Verify this circuit by applying 230 volt input AC, and you just check whether the LED is glowing or not. If LED is glowing, this is a perfect half wave rectifier circuit. Like this we can also try for full wave rectifier circuits also. So again, one transformer, instead of one diode, here you have to use two diodes and load resistance RL and one LED. So connect as per the circuit connections we have discussed earlier and you try, it will work out nicely. So by doing like this, you will get a practical experience of constructing a rectifier circuit. This will be very useful for your makeup products in fabricating the power supplies. Right, so hope these things will be very useful for you. At this juncture, you know the operations of full wave rectifier and its derivations in detail. In the next video, we will see about the operation of bridge rectifier. Thanks for watching.